Everything about Neanderthals breaks the rules. They had brains up to 15% bigger than ours, and they still lost the evolutionary game. 3 fossils, Shanidar 1, La Chapelle aux Saints, and La Ferraci, survived crushing injuries that would kill a modern human in an intensive care unit. Forget what science says should happen. With Neanderthals, every law of biology seems written in reverse. This is where the trail of anomalies begins. Neanderthals rewrote the rulebook on brains and survival. Their average brain volume was not just a little bigger, it was 10 to 15% larger than that of early Homo sapiens. Classic Neanderthal skulls, from La Ferraci to Gibraltar, routinely measure above 1,500 cubic centimeters, while early modern humans and most people today cluster closer to 1,350 or 1,400. Evolutionary logic says more neurons mean more advantage, better memory, sharper problem solving, a bigger edge. But the bigger-brained species is the one that vanished. Endocranial reconstructions, CT scans, and digital endocasts all point the same way. Neanderthals carried more neural tissue inside elongated, heavy-browed skulls. Some theories try to explain it. Maybe those extra neurons were tied up in vision and body control, tracking massive bodies and surviving Ice Age darkness instead of fueling language or social complexity. Maybe their brain power went to raw survival, not to building large networks or sharing ideas. Other researchers point to the costly energy demands of running both a big brain and a cold, adapted body, suggesting Neanderthals lived on a razor-thin ecological margin. But none of these explanations erase the core fact. The species with the biggest brains lost the evolutionary contest. Survival of the fittest handed the planet to a smaller brained newcomer. The logic of more neurons equals more success breaks down here. With Neanderthals, even the most basic evolutionary patterns do not hold. Shanidar 1 should not have survived. His skull was crushed on one side, likely leaving him blind in one eye. His right arm was withered, probably useless from either injury or a birth defect, and the lower half may have been amputated or destroyed. Both legs show damage and severe arthritis. Yet bone remodeling and joint wear reveal he lived decades beyond these traumas, reaching an age of 40 to 50, old for a Neanderthal. Modern trauma surgeons point out that even today, blindness, limb loss, and major leg injuries often mean permanent disability or death without advanced surgery, antibiotics, and months of rehabilitation. Shanidar 1 survived all of it in an Ice Age cave. La Chapelle aux Saints 1, discovered in France, presents another impossible case. By the time of his death, he had lost almost all his teeth, with no way to chew tough meat. His spine and hips were so degenerated with arthritis that walking would have been agonizing. Yet he reached an age of 50 to 60. Survival with this level of disability in a hunting group, with no access to soft foods or pain relief, implies someone else prepared his meals and looked after him for years. La Ferraci 1, also from France, bore multiple healed fractures to his skull, ribs, and limbs. He too returned to strenuous activity after injuries that would keep most modern patients in a hospital bed. Eric Trinkhaus, who has studied these fossils for decades, puts it bluntly: if you saw these injuries in an emergency room today, you would expect surgery, antibiotics, rehabilitation. Shanidar 1 survived all that with stone tools and fire. These are not isolated stories. The fossil record is dotted with Neanderthals who lived for years with wounds that should have killed them. Either their bodies healed in ways ours cannot explain, or they cared for each other with a level of commitment that rewrites the script on what it means to be human. Neither answer fits neatly into the world we expect from Ice Age bones. Their commitment is an anomaly we still cannot explain. 500,000 years of separation should have closed the door. By the logic of speciation, Neanderthals and Homo sapiens were supposed to be too distant to mix. Horses and donkeys diverged more recently, and they can only produce sterile mules. Yet when modern humans left Africa and met Neanderthals in Eurasia, the result was fertile hybrids, offspring who could have children of their own. That genetic handshake was not a fluke. Today, 1 to 4% of the DNA in billions of people outside Africa comes straight from Neanderthals. The proof sits in every large-scale genome scan, segments of Neanderthal code woven into the chromosomes of modern Europeans, Asians, and their descendants. The OASI-1 human from Romania, dated to around 40,000 years ago, had a Neanderthal ancestor just 4 to 6 generations back. This is not a rare glitch. This is a genetic legacy. Even Svante Pääbo, whose team first sequenced the Neanderthal genome, admits that after 500,000 years of separation, you do not expect genomes to plug back together, but they did. The textbook rules say this should not happen. The evidence says it did, and it is still happening in our bodies today. Every Neanderthal mother line and father line is gone. Not a single person alive today carries Neanderthal mitochondrial DNA or a Neanderthal Y chromosome. The entire uniparental legacy, maternal and paternal, was erased, leaving only fragments of nuclear DNA woven into modern genomes. Geneticists like David Reich and Joshua Akey mapped the evidence. While 1 to 4% of our DNA is Neanderthal, huge regions are almost completely empty of their code. The deserts are not random. The X chromosome is stripped bare, especially around genes tied to male fertility. Testis-expressed genes and regions controlling sperm development show a near-total absence of Neanderthal ancestry. This isn't a gentle fade. It's a genome-wide cleanup, as if natural selection quarantined and deleted the most incompatible pieces, removing entire inheritance pathways with surgical precision. Hybrid male disadvantage models fit the pattern. Male hybrids struggled to reproduce, while only certain female lineages passed on Neanderthal DNA. Reich puts it bluntly. Some regions of the human genome are almost devoid of Neanderthal DNA, especially around male fertility genes, as if evolution quarantined those bits and deleted them. The result is a patchwork legacy, with some Neanderthal code integrated, but entire lines and vast stretches of DNA surgically purged. Neanderthal DNA is not just ancient history. It is running active code in billions of people alive right now. Some of the same genetic programs that helped Neanderthals survive Ice Age wounds and pathogens are still switched on in modern bodies, but they are tuned to a world that no longer exists. Take blood clotting. Neanderthal variants in genes like F5 and F11 once meant faster clotting, a clear advantage for a hunter facing trauma and cold. Today, those same segments are linked to higher risk of dangerous blood clots and stroke. A single Neanderthal-derived haplotype can bump a person's odds of venous thrombosis by 10 to 20%. The immune system tells a similar story. Neanderthal versions of OAS1 and HLA genes ramp up pathogen defense, but in modern carriers, they also push the immune system toward autoimmunity, raising the risk of diseases like lupus and type 1 diabetes. These are not broken fragments. They are active programming in the wrong operating system. 40,000 years after extinction, Neanderthal gene networks are still running, still shaping who gets sick and how, sometimes doubling or tripling the odds for specific conditions. The legacy is not silent. It is malfunctioning in real time, in real people. Neanderthals survived for hundreds of thousands of years as a species that barely reached the size of a small town. Genomic studies from both the Altai and Vindija Neanderthals point to effective population sizes in the low thousands, sometimes dipping below 1,000 breeding adults. The Altai Neanderthal's genome is packed with runs of homozygosity, the genetic signature of close kin mating, on par with the offspring of half-siblings. Even less inbred individuals still show far less genetic diversity than modern humans. Population genetics predicts that groups this small and this inbred should have collapsed long before the Ice Age ended. Yet Neanderthals endured as a scattered metapopulation for more than 300,000 years, outlasting many other human lineages. By every mathematical rule, this should not have worked, but the fossils and genomes say otherwise. Neanderthals survived everything the Ice Age could throw at them: cycles of brutal cold, predators, starvation, and thousands of years of climate whiplash. Yet, within a window of less than 10,000 years after Homo sapiens arrived in Europe, the Neanderthals were gone. Radiocarbon dating keeps tightening the overlap, shrinking the time they shared the continent. Archaeologists have combed the layers for signs of mass violence, a killer epidemic, or even a sudden climate collapse, and found nothing that fits the timeline. No continent-wide massacre, no extinction horizon, no single catastrophic event. The fossil and artifact record just goes quiet. A species that survived every natural disaster, vanished right after we showed up, and the final cause is still missing from the evidence. Neanderthals refuse to fit our models, yet their DNA still shapes how billions of us respond to injury, infection, and even disease today. The anomaly isn't ancient. It's alive in us, every day. Some mysteries don't fade. They become part of what we call human.